rolling.
We're rolling. Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Corbin Dallas podcast. I am your host, Corbin Dallas, and this is Mike Gebhardt. He is a fellow agent at Coldwell Banker. Wonderful person, and today we're going to ask him some questions. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm living the dream, Corbin. Thanks for asking me today. I appreciate it.
Sweet. Well, so Mike, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an East Coast guy. I grew up on Long Island, and I lived there for 58 years. Moved to Boulder 7 years ago to follow my kids out here. I worked in finance for 25 years till 2010, and in 2014 I went into real estate, and I've worked in various capacities in real estate for the last 10, 11 years.
All right. And then, if I may ask, what got you into the real estate business?
I was after my Wall Street career, I was dating a woman who suggested that with my my tenacity and my sphere of influence and my sales ability that I would be really good in real estate. And,
Okay.
she introduced me to her manager, and within a month I was working at a big shopping area.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, so 30 years in finance, what is the best lesson you've learned, or the one that you continue to carry with you today?
The lesson that I learned early on in finance, and I still use today, is that the only thing, we come here with our name and we leave here with our name. It's the only thing we have. We have money, we have riches, we have houses, we have cars, we have country clubs, we have all the shit. But if you don't have your name, the last thing I need is someone saying, oh, there goes Mike Gebhardt. That guy's an idiot, or that guy's a little higher, or I don't like dealing with that guy. So I learned that early on, that, just do the right thing.
Do the right thing, be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's a simple equation. It really is.
All right. Well, so kind of just getting into the meat of finance, tell us a little bit about what you did. I know you said you worked in Wall Street, but you're also a loan officer.
So, what I did on Wall Street? Yeah, I was a what they call a sales trader, and what I did was, this was back in the day when we had a big board on our desk with a phone on this side and an earpiece on both sides, and I had two phones in my ears, and this guy was at Solomon, and this guy was at Goldman, and this guy was like, go sell these to the guy at Goldman. And I would act as a principal in between that trade.
Okay.
And it was kind of, it's not unlike talking to a buyer and a seller of real properties, except we were trading bonds or derivatives or options or paper assets as opposed to hard assets like a house.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. So then, what was your loan officer? You're still a loan officer, right? I
am a loan officer. I've only been a loan officer in real estate for 18 months, maybe almost 20 months now.
Okay.
I was working at another shop before I got to Coldwell Banker, and they had an initiative to recruit people that had financial acumen into the loan business. So I'm one of the 1% of, I'm not a realtor, but one of the 1% of real estate agents that are also loan officers. And why that helps is for people that are buying a house, it helps to have your realtor being the loan officer as well, because it's a much more seamless transaction that way. You can't, like when you're a realtor and you're trying to get answers from the loan company, a lot of times you can't get answers.
It's hard.
When your loan officer is the same person as your realtor, it's much more seamless. It works very well. So I've been doing that for 18 months or so I can refer my buyers directly to the company that holds my loan license.
That's pretty sweet. Okay. And then just getting into the meat of it is, people my generation, I want the American dream of owning a home. I know a lot of kids my age, people my age want that exact same thing.
Sure.
What are some mistakes that you think we're making that hold us back?
Well, I don't want to be all judgy.
Be objective.
But $8 Starbucks coffees every day.
Yes.
Going out to dinner, Grubhub being delivered, paying delivery fees.
Yeah.
It starts with, I come from a world of personal responsibility, Corbin. So in order to get ahead, we've had this conversation off screen before, that it's very difficult to make enough money in this environment to be wealthy.
Yep.
And my generation was lucky. It's not, we were lucky. We bought houses much cheaper. Now interest rates were much higher then, but we bought houses and they appreciated with us. The only way that your generation, in my opinion, unless you make $1 zillion, are going to be well off 30 or 40 years from now, is to own assets that appreciate with inflation. So what was the question?
What are mistakes you think?
Mistakes. I want you to look at a budget. I want you
Yes.
to stop spending so much money on frivolous things.
Yes.
I don't know when I turned into my dad, but I did. Here I am. So
Just for this.
pay attention, because when you're paying rent, you're paying someone else's mortgage, and he's reaping all the benefits of that mortgage, and all you're doing is paying it for him.
That's something.
That's the biggest mistake.
Yeah, I know a lot of people get trapped in a bit of a rent cycle where they're just going from renting place to renting place, and it just gets more expensive.
It gets more expensive, and also I think you've been done a disservice by listening to the media that tells you, oh, it's so much simpler to rent, and it might be simpler, and it's so much cheaper because your rent's $2,200 and a mortgage might be $2,800. However,
You're not building anything.
you're not building anything, and when you look at the tax benefits of that $2,800 mortgage payment, you're probably substantially underneath your rent payment.
Oh, that's a good
Well,
point.
we're
Actually.
talking about tax deductions.
Yes.
I'm not a tax accountant, but there's numerous ways. There's 4 ways to make money in real estate. We don't have to talk about them now. But if you if you buy a house this year and move into it with a couple of your buddies, and then next year you move into another house, and you leave those 2 buddies there, and you put a 3rd buddy in that house. Those you may not be getting income, but you're certainly building equity. And those 3 guys are paying your mortgage, or almost all of it. And if you do that for 5 years, you got 6 houses, all building equity.
That's a good way to move.
Bingo. Do that for 10 years, and maybe your job is just a frivolous thing at that point.
Yeah, people aren't making enough money. So what are some tips that you have for people my age? Or just tips in general?
Again, to reiterate it starts with a budget. I also believe that, I think I read a survey about a year ago that said realtors are 1 step above used car salesmen. And I'm not saying anything bad against used car salesmen, but I know some realtors that aren't very good at what they do. I think a tip is to buddy up with a realtor, a real estate broker, or a mortgage lender. Even if you're years from buying a house. I tell people all the time, I don't care if you're buying a house in 2 months or 2 years or 5 years.
Build a connection.
Build a connection, so you're staying in touch with the marketplace, and you're staying in touch with the financial aspect, so you can build some financial acumen, and you're ready to do things, because it may be much sooner than you think.
Okay.
I'll talk about a myth there.
Please.
A lot of people, I still talk to people all the time who think you need 20% down on a house.
Oh,
$500,000 house, it's $100,000. Who saved $100,000? A lot of people haven't. But you may have saved $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000. You may be able to go to one of the 7 agencies in the Front Range, Colorado, that will give you free FREE money as a grant to use for a down payment to get into that house. Now your rent, now the payment that you're making is building equity instead of paying someone else's mortgage debt.
That is the biggest thing, building your own equity and not somebody else's.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, if I was a buyer, what can I do to make myself attractive to a seller or a loan agent? See it as like, I'm ready. I know the budget.
Well, it starts with getting, and it's amazing how often we have to explain this to people, it starts with a pre-approval. Because that pre-approval, it does a lot of things, but the first thing it does, it approves you, and you can look in the mirror and say, I'm comfortable with this. I may be pre-approved all the way up here, but me and my partner, we only want to be comfortable with this payment. Right? So it takes everything into account of where your life is right now and what you're comfortable paying. The next part is, when you represent someone with a solid pre-approval, it tells the seller and the selling agent, the listing agent, that you're real,
Yes.
that you're serious, and that you're gonna get to the closing table.
Yeah.
Everything starts with the budget and being pre-approved.
Yeah, pre-approval is everything.
It's everything. You can't do anything without it.
Cost anything to like start the qualification
Not at all.
process?
Not at all. It's honestly, it costs you an email to your loan officer to say,
Yep.
send me an application. Yes, it's going to cost you an hour or two of utter torture, pulling all your documents, your W-2s, your bank accounts, all this stuff that we need as a loan officer. But once you have it forever.
Yeah, you're set.
It's good for 90 days usually, and then your loan officer will help you through that stuff.
Okay.
I can't stress enough how important it is to get a handle on your finances, because again, you don't want to take somebody looking at houses at $600,000 if they can only afford $450.
No,
You're setting them up for a fall. You're wasting time, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yep. And that it just brings their hopes down because it's like I can't even afford the house I want.
And then they get frustrated, and you've done them a disservice.
Yeah.
That. So I don't do
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Get the budget, get qualified, get approved.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I know this is kind of a cliche question, but when do you think is the best time to buy?
Well, if you're on Instagram, there's two great times. One is yesterday, and one is today. But in all honesty, the best time to buy a house is when you and your partner, if you're buying with a partner, can afford that house and you're comfortable with it. Because the faster you, as we talked about, inflation-fighting assets, the faster we build inflation-fighting assets in our portfolio, the better off we are.
Yeah.
Now that said, it starts with the budget. It starts with when can I. What we don't want to do, and I learned this on Wall Street many years ago, we don't time markets. It makes no sense to time a market.
Okay.
You can't sit around and wait for rates to come down.
Yeah.
You can't sit around and wait for housing prices to come down.
Just got
With all due respect, housing prices are not coming down. I talk to people, when's the crash, Mike? There is no crash. Demographics prove to us, certainly in the state of Colorado, so many people want to live here, the weather, the lifestyle, everything here, the economy. House prices are not going to crater here. I know your friend bought a house with a 2 3/4 mortgage 3 years ago. I'm sorry, that's not coming back.
No.
You have to buy the house. It'd be great if you can buy a house at 6.5% now and then refinance at 5% in a few years down the road, but we can't guarantee that. So you have to build the assets now.
Yep.
And if you can't buy a $700,000 house, and you can only buy a $450,000 house, well, that's what you have to do.
It's still something.
Yeah, because that house, that $450,000 house, will give you leverage over the next years.
Yes.
You will build equity quickly, and you will then be able to leverage that into your forever house down the road. But you have to do something. You have to take action.
You have to do something.
You can't sit around with your head in the sand and hope that the social net is going to take care of you.
You got to build it and do it yourself.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that covers most of our bases. Do you have any final parting words?
Start with the budget.
Start with the budget.
Look at yourself, and you and your partner look in the mirror and say, what do we really want out of life? Realize that inflation is going to keep going up.
Yep.
The value of the dollar is going to keep going down. The government has guaranteed that for us. Then decide what you can afford to buy and when you can afford to buy it, and then develop these relationships with a real estate broker that knows what he's doing and a loan officer that has good reviews.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, that's wonderful. All right, Mike, tell the people where they can find you, and we'll call it.
My name is Gebhardt. I'm at GEB, and my name is Gebhardt, GEBHARDT, and my phone number is 303-681-7006. But if you need a real estate broker, call Corbin.
All right, thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate this.
Have a wonderful day.
And you.